Well, dear friends, welcome back again. Hope you guys didn't miss us too much because we certainly missed you a lot. It's always sad not seeing you guys all the time, but we are back ready to go. We have everything set up correctly as it should be. If you're just getting here, I'm Slayzilla, joined by the excellent Chief. And well, I'm really excited to get into this match. Of course, map one is going to be constant. We know the bans, and this is starting to get real, man. This is going to be a great matchup for sure, for sure.
What I like is we're going to kind of go back to that old school meta. We have Thatcher in play, we have Maverick in play, we have Thermite and Habana. If you're a defender sitting behind a reinforced wall, that wall will be opened up at one point, which is going to put the defenders in a predicament. Am I going to bring out true wall utility, or am I going to bring operators that are going to waste time elsewhere? Mute Mozzie is a great way of thinking, especially if you go to the first floor, which is press room, or if you go to the split bomb site. If you're bringing out that Mute Mozzie, you have two Nitro cells, and you can place that utility in so many different locations, particularly on split. If you want to deny entry into admin, well, you put your Mozzie pests up there. But you also want to deny some entrance downstairs into the basement. So it's going to be really on how well these teams are able at creating contingency plans on the fly, because I can guarantee they weren't prepared for some of these bans.
Yeah, these bands are definitely going to be interesting to see how everything plays in there. Like you said, it shouldn't be a big deal opening up some of the important walls on this map, but for Consulate, there aren't too many huge walls that you have to get done, other than, of course, if you're attacking the garage, you want to make sure you get the garage open. Hatches can be a big deal, but yeah, I think the main thing that I'm going to be looking for is who will be able to get the plants down while they're attacking. As we know, Consulate post-plant situations are dreary for a defending team. It's not easy to try to go in and defuse that or disable that terrible diffuser. So that could be a really big game plan. Try to get in, get that defuse down ASAP, put the defense in a terrifically unfortunate position, and you're going to have a good chance of winning round after round if you're successful. But of course, that's the problem. You got to be successful, and that is oftentimes easier said than done.
Now, I talk about the French style of execute when we go to Clubhouse. Now, that's not going to be our battleground today, but have you seen the French style of execute here on Consulate, particularly for Press Room and or CEO, or the Amaru up the top patches? We saw that a little bit back in like the summertime into like October, and it sounds madness because it absolutely is. But it's something fun, and maybe ImmenZ, maybe Parabellum is going to be like, those Euros, they got something going. They have a genius strategy, plus you have a G8, and we all know if you added Black Ice to the G8, it becomes even better.
Absolutely, man. Black Ice and G8 gives, I believe, +5. Dan, I'm just kidding. That's false. Don't listen to that. That's false. Doesn't
No,
do
it adds
anything.
20 frames. It adds 20 frames to your
Add
game, not
20
plus
frames.
5 damage. You can't lie to the audience like that, Slay.
All right, guys, this is my bad. I know false information being dished out here. You hate to see it. You really do. Yeah, man. I okay. So it sounds like we do have the lovely lobby bug, um, thanks to the servers being great and the lobbies being greater. So it'll take a moment. That is always unfortunate, but we should be able to get in. But Amaru is an incredibly exciting operator. I really don't see her that much, though, to be honest. And when I do see her, it's usually in a memeing fashion. I would love to see a legit strategy with Amaru, but unfortunately, the idea of just yeeting on to the pretty much anywhere you want to go in the building can be a little bit too ferocious and too aggressive for a lot of actual strategies. But hey, man, I'm all about a little bit of Amaru play.
Oh, you're talking about meme strategies? Well, my friend, I have a strategy for you. We all love shotguns in this game, right? He already knows where this is going. The M590, which is a great shotgun, it doesn't deserve an ACOG, but the M870 absolutely does. Imagine you're in a scenario, it's a 1vx, you're holding a tight corner, and all of a sudden, Lord Chachanko blesses you with an ACOG in your shotgun. You basically get into your DeLorean time machine, you fly back into Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, where you used to have buck shotguns with ACOGs, and you would just hold corners, you'd fly around Operation Metro, and this is kind of close to Operation Metro. It's a building, there's some blown up cars, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, give me an ACOG on my shotgun easy.
Oh, absolutely, man. M870 ACOG, put it down in the chat. That needs to be something that Ubisoft adds in eventually. I mean, it doesn't get played ever. I mean, you almost never see the M870, and you know what? I imagine if they added an ACOG to it, it would be the meta. The new meta would be M870 ACOG everywhere you go. And I would love that. That would be amazing, man. I mean, yeah, that'd be great. In fact, why don't we just totally turn this into a Battlefield game? Let's have Rainbow Six, but it's actually Battlefield. Massive maps, tanks. There's still only 5 players on each team, but I mean that would be great. I would love to see it. The slowest game you've ever seen.
What is the map? Not Skyscraper, the abomination of a map where you spawn on the roof. It's basically going to be like that. I never remember the
Hmm.
name of it because I've tried to block it out of my mind because it's an absolute dumpster fire.
From
So, you never
uh,
want battle. It's not Skyscraper. It's Tower, maybe? I don't know. My 3 brain cells only can
from
remember so
Rainbow.
much. Yes, from Rainbow.
Yeah, yeah.
The bad
That's
bat. Yeah. Well,
bad.
as our 3 brain cells attempt to make a coherent sentence and remember things from our past, honestly, I think there's so many players that have learned from like Battlefield that maybe that ACOG on a shotgun might help them a little bit. Now, you do have a Boss G, the only weapon on defense with an ACOG, and we've actually seen this. I can't believe we're gonna say this. Legitimate T3 players in crucial matches bring out the Boss G just to spawn peek, and it works sometimes.
Sometimes. Well, that'd be an interesting situation, man. I'm looking at the chat, and it is getting a little bit hot in here. Everyone's saying we're on fire. Oof. I love to see it, but hopefully that lobby bug will be fixed up soon. We'll be getting into our map number 1 again in a best of 3 situation. Map 1 is pretty dang important because you immediately put yourself onto series point if you win it. So, I mean, this is going to be a big one for Consulate, and we've seen ImmenZ around for a while. We know ImmenZ pretty dang well. Parabellum again. I'm not too familiar with them. I don't know about you, Chief, but this is exciting, man. I mean, ImmenZ could really come out swinging, but with a little bit of a dark horse for me, at least with Parabellum. Who knows what could happen? I'm really excited to see how these two teams will meet in epic battle, but I don't know, man. It's going to be exciting for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Parabellum, I think, is a newer team to, the T3 scene, and which means they're actually going to have an advantage in this series. They have the opportunity of VOD reviewing ImmenZ, because ImmenZ plays in so many different leagues. They've had more or less a consistent roster throughout its legacy. And if you have a competent support staff behind Parabellum, a coach, analyst, and a strong IGL, they can take that wealth, that plethora of data, and just put it into their brains and start to break things down. And then when they come to an exhibition match like this, they can put all their cards on the table. Now, I have to put my own counter argument to that into the universe simply because this is an exposition map at the end of the day. And it would almost be kind of folly to bring out your full try hard panties and your macro strategies that you've been saving for years.
It's true. It'll be interesting to see, I guess, how they're going to play this. And yeah, some good VOD review could be very, very nice. That's something a lot of teams have got to look into, making sure that they understand their enemy, man. Okay. Well, we've got even more server issues, so we will continue to be here. I don't know if we're going to continue to waffle about or kick it to a break, but Siege being Siege happens to the best of us. It really does. And you hate to see it at times, but man, it hurts a little bit.
Oh, and apparently Twitch chat has informed us that it is Tower the Abomination. And if you actually know that map's called Tower, remember, devs, instantly delete it. So we're still just, again, stalling time, trying to have the Ubisoft gods, Lord Tachanka, bless us with actually, allowing us to start the lobbies. But as you're saying, sometimes things get a little discombobulated on the, zeros and ones. Nice blue cup.
Absolutely.
I love this clash we're going, right?
And then,
We are wearing red, and then somehow we synergized on the same drinking vessel. Or is this a vehicle? Would you call this a vehicle or a vessel?
I would say vessel. I would say it's
Would it be a
vessel.
vessel? Because doesn't a vessel have to be fully sealed? Or I guess the duration in which it's, or I guess how it's storing something and if it's moving something determines if it is a vehicle or a vessel, right? Or is it the
Perhaps it is a
medium in which it's
vehicle.
traveling in? This
I
is
have
some
no
important
idea.
stuff, right? Because a vessel, travels through a medium of water, but a vehicle travels through air or on land.
I've looked it up.
All
Okay,
right, so while he's
drinking
Googling
vessel,
things,
a vessel intended for drinking. So
th- th-
a cup is a drinking vessel or something resembling it, a small open vessel for liquids.
oh, open. So, okay. So, by that definition, I'm assuming like a hydro flask would be a vehicle then because it's not open. But since this is open, it's a vessel. The more you know.
Wow, this is beautiful. This is great. I love the information we're getting. Oh
You have to
man,
educate the people.
we do. It's
Yeah, we're going to be diving
now.
over to a quick 5-minute break while we figure out why we can't start the lobby. But please don't go anywhere. We'll be back with you as soon as possible. Much love from the casting booth. Ladies and
Well,
gentlemen, we have returned. Our lobby bug has decided it no longer wants to exist, which means we can actually start this game. As we dive into round one, our bans will still be the same. So ImmenZ removed Blackbeard and Kaid, and on the side of Parabellum, Ace and Valkyrie are removed. Now, we talked about the other three operators, but we really never dived into Valkyrie. She's extremely strong operator on this map, and if you send her Valkyrie cameras anywhere outside, well, that's going to provide so much information to the defense that they're going to be prepared to either counter you on a window repel by actually positioning their body inside the map, or what's more typical, flying out a window.
oh yeah, you know what? That is always an exciting show to be just yeeting out of
Attackers
windows.
need to locate and defuse bombs.
We will be heading to the lovely site that we all know and love.
Bomb located by attackers.
The site that is straight up right on the edge. Right through the door, you can just get in, and sometimes getting in and getting a plant down, well, my dear friend, can be exactly what you're looking for. That is going to be the case here. They're just going to try to get in, get a plant down, but usually and typically it is incredibly important to go ahead and get some top floor control, get that second floor nailed down, open up the matches, rain down terror from above, and that is most likely going to be Parabellum starting on the defense side of the man for the attack and looking to line up.
Attackers are
We're seeing
moving
that
to defuse
Hibana,
the
we're seeing
bomb.
that Maverick. And we, of course, have a little bit that Nomad, and well, what is this? Everybody has
Defender
decided to
exposed.
come outside for a pre-game night. Is it going to be a pre-game night fight? Perhaps it will be. Look at this. This is exciting, Keith. I love this.
The
Well, there goes the
Attackers
edge out. The
has been
bananas are
blocked.
going to start to pop off.
Attackers have
Knife after
recovered their
knife.
defuse.
It's a
Defender
2-2
has
for each
been
of these
discovered.
rosters, going down to a 1v1. Now it is paper. Reverse only Cams. Cam is going to pull out his wall hacks, confirming the location of Ash, even though he could have used his eyeballs a long time ago. Baiting each other back and forth, trying to have the steel blade
Defender is
connect,
exposed.
but nobody is going to find their target as of yet until Cam gets too close, and then he's stabbed. His gut stretched out, and there we go. ImmenZ is going to find the first round victory. Can we go?
Well, what an incredible beginning to this game, as we saw nothing short of an epic beginning of a knife fight. That's exciting. That was amazing. Paper clutching it up for the team. And, well, just like that, we've got a big round one. Now, looking at this, it seems like we've lost one of the members of ImmenZ, but will they return? RC indeed has returned. Might have to use some of that lovely little pause feature to try to get him in here. I'm still not exactly sure how it works, but hopefully everything is going to work out. We actually see a Frost coming out. It's going to be round number 2 upstairs on console meeting for the name of the game. And yeah, there he is. A fuse coming out for RC. I love that.
So we were talking about earlier that some of these rosters may take this very seriously, and others may not. And it looks like it's going to be the latter of those two options, just bringing out no strategy whatsoever and just trying to find maximum levels of entertainment. Now, Fused can
Attackers
be
need to
quite
locate
viable
and
here
defuse
on
bombs.
console, particularly if you go downstairs and you've done your homework saying, hey, no, defenders are downstairs in the basement. I have 4 cluster charges, which means a heck ton of grenades, and just absolutely explode everybody into oblivion. However, now those cluster charges are going to have to find their marks on window repels. It actually could work out if you have nitrocell denial on the east side of admin, or if there's a lot of ADSs and utility on the other windows. It's probably not going out that way. Most likely RC just wants to have the best AR in his back pocket to obliterate members of Parabellum.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how all of that goes down and how everything flows as we go in. But yeah, I mean, a nice little knife fight to start us off. I'm interested to see if they are going to try to turn up the heat now. It will continue to be a whole lot of fun game modes. Just a little bitty game. We don't play all sorts of stuff, but looks like we do have a little bit more of a calculated attack coming in. Well, it looks like the boys want to go in through admin, get a little bit of pressure. You got the drone of prayer going out, making sure information is there. Mozzie, of course, has some counter dronage, and we can see that become incredibly important as here we go. Information is what this game runs on, but it also runs on Mr. Freeze getting absolutely gunned down. He's going to be
A bomb has
DB
been located.
not out. Down but not out, and well, we'll see how that's going to go. More shots go in. Going to get some good damage onto paper as well as RC. They're getting lit up here. This is a little bit of a bad start for ImmenZ with 2 minutes to go.
The frost maps are just not the play. If you're attackers, you have to avoid them at all costs, and it seems like ImmenZ has not thrown out properly. It's going to cost them a little bit of HP, but more importantly, the time on the clock is going to continue to work its way on down. Members of Parabellum have been alerted that it's a full-on attack from the east side of the map. And here is how ImmenZ starts to set up their multi-angle crossfire. They're going to be rotating their attackers on over to the west, couple that with a Khan's Repel, and the defenders are going to find themselves in a kill box. They're going to be forced to challenge multiple angles, but since the attackers really haven't put any effort over to Spiral, that's going to really hinder the attackers opening up the backside of the A bomb, which they're going to be sending most of their X-Kairos towards. A flank coming from underneath. There's no flank drones whatsoever from ImmenZ down on the teller's stairs, and this could find themselves in a very bad position. The nitrocell is going to miss, and everybody in ImmenZ knows that they're certainly going to die if the flank works out perfectly, which it won't.
Well, yeah, less than a minute to go here. Shots go out. That's the opening kill. A little bit late, but only Cam takes him down. No problem. The Hibana dead, gone, but more looks to happen. It's going to be Cryptics finished off. That's Primal running around, getting a good shot on. Paper looks for more. He'll be gunned down as well. The double kill for only Cam's getting a good beginning so far for himself. 3-1 now, but RC Again, with a replay, that's going to be Sky's dead, back and forth like a pendulum swinging, but the pendulum has now swung to Primal as he takes down Baron as well. Only Cams finds RC. It's a 2v2. Only Cams looking for a little bit of an ace here. We'll see if he can clinch it out with 20 seconds to go. HP at this point is quite limited, and with Only Cams on the quad kill, this man has shown nothing short of just utter success and domination, looking for the ace. Cravington, the last operator, but it's going to be taken away from Black as Cravington falls. The quad kill coming from Only Cams in a dominant fashion on that round.
I was going to be very critical of Parabellum. They played that far too passively. Now, their whole goal was to delay time on the east side of the map towards admin through their utility and those frost mats. It did work out well, but ImmenZ is a roster that is known for just pushing a bomb site and winning their ones. Parabellum was just not prepared for that level of just push and send. Now, that's where ImmenZ strategy started to fail because they got a little bit too aggressive. They started to snowball and they weren't able to hit those breaks because they started to skip steps. They didn't have strong flank drones. They didn't have a single one over by Green Door or the Spiral, as well as Tellers. Those are such common avenues for defenders that if you miss those spots, you're almost likely to have your head have a bullet in from behind. So ImmenZ needs to go back and address that. Since we're going downstairs to the basement, it's going to be a very similar situation, particularly if ImmenZ elects to do a similar style of roam clear. And that's where Consulate starts to change. There are so many different ways of attacking this map. You can do a south window repel, remove the ceiling over that B bomb site, and never enter in through. However, holes do work both ways. If you don't actually have confirmation that all of piano is clear, those holes the attackers made could bite them down the road as the defender is sitting there watching an entry from the main breach.
We'll see if it's gonna be the way it goes here. I mean, it should be an interesting attack for sure. ImmenZ taking a bit of an L there off the back of a 4K from Only Cams. He now sits with 5 kills. Got one off the knife fight like an absolute legend. Playing the Mira operator now. He's got a lot of stuff going for him at this point. I'm excited to see if ImmenZ can do something to shut them down. RC right now with a 3K looks pretty good. Primal as well as Paper goes with 2. Grig right now with a single frag. Cravington is craving a frag, and I'm sure he'll be able to find one before the night is out. The question will be, how does this round go? The attacking side typically has a little bit of an advantage, especially after that frag goes down. That's what we're looking for, some good initial moves. But man, Parabellum in the last round absolutely shut him down off the backs of, like you said, some pretty fatal mistakes that they made. So ImmenZ on the mend here. We'll see what they can do. We've got a little bit of a Vigil running around, having a good time, becoming invisible to the drones, and of course with that K1A, a tremendous weapon. Baron on the mute, heading around with that lovely SMG and finds RC with no problem. The fuse gets a charge off, but that'll be all he gets as the opening kill goes again to Parabellum.
I was constantly thinking, where is the pressure on yellow stairs from ImmenZ? They need to lock down that power position, and they never did, which has cost them their lives. And they're also too focused on these air jabs because it allows members of the defense of Parabellum to still set up lines of sight over into circle, and that has cost another member of ImmenZ. They aren't doing their due diligence so far at all with any of their flank watch, and they need to reassess that. Now, they have the man disadvantage, which is still something you can work with when you have somebody above, because the defenders are going to be locked all the way to the east side of the A bomb site. It's a very difficult position to be, and with vertical destruction above them, shots being exchanged, it's going to become even more difficult. Oh, now it's just a 1v3. Vigil's known over by Zulu. He's going to send some bullets down range. He's going to sprint challenge over to yellow as he's going to be felled. A great awkward showing by both of these rosters, and they constantly go back and forth. But at the end of the day, all you need is a round win.
All you need is a round win indeed, and it's going to be confirmed there. A good job to get that down, especially by ImmenZ off of a pretty brutal smack on round number 2. They were able to come back and, you know, have a little bit of a disadvantage at the beginning. They lost a couple of men's, but they came back strong and they took the round. Heading again to the exact same site, I believe it will indeed be Garage Cafeteria for take 2. It's going to be round 4 this time, and we'll see what they do differently. a great start. You saw Baron take down the Fuse initially. We saw Cravington as well fall. And from there, it really was a men's game to try to pick up for that round. They did a great job of that. It'll be them Lucy coming out this time in round number 4. A little bit of a switch over from the lovely Mira that we saw previously from Only Cams. Those Banshees can be very, very annoying and difficult to take care of as you can't shoot them. You got to punch him or use some of that precious utility to take him out of the game. We'll see how this goes. Another big round for both teams. The men's could take a 3-1 lead here. That would be pretty tremendous for them at this point. Parabellum could tie it up with a single victory here, and well, all that is yet to be seen, but it can be dangerous going to the same site twice, but they do some good precautions, make sure that they fix some mistakes that they might have made and set this up properly. They have a good chance of winning this out.
The thing is, ImmenZ needs to isolate the rotations much faster, particularly yellow stairs. You can see that as a hub for the defenders to rotate up and down, and when the attackers of ImmenZ are utilizing vertical destruction over on piano, well, you have to make sure you're not going to be pressured from just about every possible angle. And since Parabellum is now expanding upstairs, this is going to put ImmenZ in a very awkward position. If they want to utilize the exact same level of vertical destruction, they have to confirm CEO, which means you send somebody over on the western repels as well as the consulate window or the cons window. This is a haphazardous entry, and it has been spotted out from ImmenZ. They know vertical holes are being held, but they're not actively dealing with it, which means Parabellum can still go for a flank and shut this down.
Yeah, they still can do quite a bit of work. Sky is on the flank, but Cryptics as well, holding that angle on the yellow stairs. Cravington taking some good damage here, going to be just above 58. 2 minutes on the clock. Things need to start going their way. Early in, but we'll see how it's all going to flow now as we do have that Fuse doing Fuse things. He's been quite faithful to the Fuse pick, and there's RC taking down Only Cams. A tremendous job. That'll get them the opening kill onto someone who has been a hot hand on round number 2 at least. Kind of slowed down round number 3, but RC looking for more. He certainly has become a player to watch 4 and 3 right now, looking to do a little bit more work. Krieger outside, and well, there it is. Paper takes down Skies, and now we start to see ImmenZ have that ability to really collapse upon the remaining 3 defenders of Parabellum and punish them for every step they take. But there's Baron with the refrag taking down Cravington. There's just over a minute to go with the flank down here. This could be it for round number 4.
Here is a retake that we are highlighting earlier. Might just be purely in vain because the defense won't be able to utilize it. If he pulls his shotgun out and sends those shots down range, that will alert ImmenZ that the top floor has been retaken. Shots exchanged between both these teams, but ImmenZ is better in every one of those scenarios, as now it's just a 1vx, Alta in hand, flipping around, hearing the prone angle, able to find one, but still in very dire straits. Bullets whizzing all around. He has no idea where he's being shot from, and it really doesn't matter in the end as he's losing his life to Primal. Another great attack from ImmenZ, but they're making a lot of mistakes nonetheless.
Yeah, mistakes can be ironed out, but a good job nonetheless taking the round win, putting themselves up into a good position. They were shooting for a hopeful 4-2. That would be very nice for the attacking side to start off on, and well, they're looking like they might be able to reach their goal here as we head back to lobby press for a second time as well. Last time, this was a bit of an interesting round as it was a whole lot of knife fights. Now, I imagine it might be a little bit of a different story as Parabellum hopes to make a little bit more of a comeback here, try to strike them down, bring it to a nice close 3-2 rather than a far away 4-1. Of course, either of those very doable on the back end. You can always make a comeback out of pretty much anything in this game, it seems. The damage can be dealt, and it can be deadly at times. We'll have to see if Parabellum can start crawling back here. Cravington still dropping 0 kills as of right now, an unfortunate beginning, but the team has been there for him, and that's a very important aspect to look at. Look at Paper, look at RC, look at Primal, 655, all of them doing a lot of great work. Krieger himself, 222, not terrible across the board, and that's showing us that ImmenZ has a really strong roster, and everybody can certainly hold their own, and we're just waiting for Cravington to pick it up as well. Parabellum had some good showings for them for their own side. They, took it on round number 2 off the back of a tremendous 4K from only Camps, but since then, the roster's been a little bit more quiet. We'll see if they can really start opening up here, getting some beautiful kills. I'm excited to see if that will indeed be the case. It's round 5, just this and next round, and then the sides will be switching. So a lot of work to be done. Parabellum could potentially tie it up to a 3-3 here. That's what they've got to be looking for.
And it seems like we've been talking a lot about these window repels, but these are truly the power positions for these attackers, because they can gain a lot of map real estate more or less for free. Now, Krieger, you have to be careful when walking up a window, because you might end up losing your life, as Vigil's able to find one. He's still lurking over on the east side of the map, trying to find more kills. ImmenZ is set up their crossfire, but it seems like our lovely Vigil has rotated to a completely different position. Very advised of him to do so. He's wasted plenty of time, but he has called in for additional reinforcements. It is going to be the nitrocell denial of the Melusi of Cryptic, and as soon as that repel sound has been heard, the nitrocell goes up. It will actually now find its target. Paper's going to lose a lot of HP, but he's still alive as Baron drops.
Well, RC is not alive either. There's Black taking him down. A good shot with the Jaeger. Paper on incredibly low HP, as you pointed out. Not a great position to be in, but Primal still doing work. Takes down Skies now a 3v3, but again, that HP deficit is looking rough. Primal going to be taken out, looking even rougher now. Black Driller having a good little round for himself. Doing well. 4-3 now is going to be the move. 6-2 from Paper. Just continues to be a dominant man on the board, but it's going to be a difficult one to win out. We're going to have to see Cravington really come out and help Paper, because HP-wise, Paper has very limited resources to work with. Now we sit on just the edge of a minute to go. Parabellum certainly at a power position as they just hold angles. A single shot could take Paper down. Only Camps throwing bullets down range. Cravington ready to put them back in their faces. He's got that lovely LA5 ready for anything, but unfortunately, as time begins to run down, this becomes a little bit more difficult here. This doesn't look good for ImmenZ, but let's see what they can do within the final 40.
Pushing on through to circle, able to down one. Cravington's going to be looking for more, but nobody from Parabellum is going to be peeking him. They're going to be electing to go for the flank. Now, since ImmenZ has been isolated, this could work out well. Paper's looking the wrong direction. The flank is going to be perfect as ImmenZ starts to drop. It's now a 1v1. Post-plant will be denied as the bomb was almost confirmed. Paper's now going to have to drop his hatch and go for the kills. He won't have time to plant whatsoever. The Melusi Wubwubs will give away his position, and Cryptix is just going to utilize Father Time as an asset as he retreats down the stairs, but Paper's going to confirm the bomb, starting to put it down, but there's not enough time as W shift is the right time, the right position, as Paper finds another cold steel in his face.
A tremendous job indeed from Parabellum. ImmenZ almost fought their way out of it. I mean, had that plank gone down, this could be an incredibly different story. I mean, Paper, despite being on low HP, has shown nothing short of absolute brilliance on the side of that KD right now, and certainly has been a power player for this team. A 3-2 right now is where we stand. This will be the final round before the side switch on map number 1. We're heading back upstairs to console meeting. This is where everything is going to have to come together for Parabellum. They want to confirm a 3-3. A 3-3, not terrible at all for themselves. That set them up very nicely to confirm a 4-2 on their attacking half and win map number 1. We'll see if that's going to be the case here for the guys on ImmenZ. They're ready. They're feeling good. They're absolutely fired up, hoping to take them down. We'll see if that is going to be the case here, because Parabellum, they've shown that they can be quite deadly. Looking at them right now, I mean, all of these guys, very similar with the frags. We have 5-4-4-3-3. They're doing a good job. And despite that, ImmenZ still has some tremendous numbers of their own, with Paper and Primal both with 7 apiece on this squad, going off RC 5-5. They got a lot of kills to their names, but we'll see if that's going to be enough to take down Parabellum on this, the final round of the half. It's going to be huge. If Parabellum can confirm the 3-3, they will indeed be in a great position to try to push it all the way home when they switch on to the attack.
What I love about ImmenZ is they're really relying on that new secondary pocket thermite charge. Some individuals call it a trampoline, some call it the can opener, but wherever you land on that coin, that bit of utility can really shape a round for you, particularly with top hatches. It's a great way of opening up that hatch if you don't have the utility. We saw that a ton on basement where Fuse would send his cluster charges down range, and Habana being the primary hard breacher, well, she would be outside towards the west, and she wouldn't have the opportunity of rotating up. But you can utilize that in a very similar position here. It's high risk to put that pocket thermite charge over on this meeting wall, but if you needed it to open up soda over by admin, that would be a great way of creating a nice line of sight.
Absolutely, man. You can do a lot of things with those little baby thermite charges. They can open up nice little holes and put yourself in a good position. Look at this. We've got the zero coming out as well. RC doing a little bit of cam work, of course, looking very good. Having a great time. The opening kill does go to RC as well, or one of the opening kills, excuse me. As he takes down Cryptix, but the refrag is waiting for Blacktrilla, takes him out, but the initial advantage heading the way of ImmenZ. As I say that, Baron shuts that down. Krieger going to be absolutely dominated by the M590, and now it's back to a 3-3. Very, very even odds here. Still a lot of time left on the clock. Half the round has yet to be seen, but there's Cravington with another big kill, taking out Blacktrilla. At this point, Baron and Skies are going to be the last two remaining. Baron has continuously been a great player to watch, but Cravington shuts him down nonetheless. Sky's now at a 1v2, looking to clutch it up for his team, put themselves in a 3-3 position. Big shots on Cravington with the plant going down. Shots in, but Paper ends it for that round as ImmenZ do indeed take the 4-2 lead. A tremendous showing from them as they're able to take that round very well. Despite the good fight back from Parabellum, they're able to win those final battles and put themselves in a great position heading on to their defensive half.
So it's starting to become very apparent that both these rosters are running default strategies and default takes. And there isn't anything wrong with that since this is an exhibition map. And particularly if you're ImmenZ, I can promise you that there are coaches from other leagues and other teams watching this VOD either present or in the future, breaking this down and trying to find some type of strategy that they can reverse engineer and apply to them in the leagues that they're currently playing in. Two unique 6-picks roll on through. Now, I am always a fan of Lion simply because he's always providing you information. Whether or not he has those red pings that is obvious, in your face information, but if you've droned somebody out and then you make the Lion scan and you don't have a red ping, that is still information showing that the defender is more or less in that same spot you droned because he hasn't had the opportunity of moving more than a few meters. And you can create a nice counter strategy on the fly to actively deal with it. Now, talking about those 6-picks directly, Ying is a great bunker buster. If you just end up full send rushing through that west triple wall of garage, flashing and Ying dumping, good luck sitting pretty if you're ImmenZ. And also Oryx is going to allow a lot of fluidity for the defense.
Oh, absolutely. He's a very interesting operator. I mean, being able to dash through all sorts of walls, but also almost dashing out of the way sometimes. We can see that where he gets a nice little kill, dashes, and he's on the move quicker than anybody else could have been. But the Ying is going to be exciting here for Cryptix. I'm really hyped to see they're going to be able to get some of those Candelas flashing people, get an amazing execute out, but Parabellum, they really want to start winning some of these rounds here. It's only 2 away for ImmenZ to put themselves into a match point position. From there, it's difficult to fight back. Not impossible, but difficult, absolutely. And we'll see if that is going to be the case here. A very large pressure coming in directly onto that lovely garage wall. They're looking to make this be the battleground for round number 7. We'll see how the fight back comes. Krieger ready to go, but he's not ready for that. Baron winning the gunfight takes him out with a headshot. There goes your smoke early on. Within a minute, your smoke is gone. No use of the canisters, and that does not bode well. Crimson on an advanced position, hoping to get some kind of an easy peeky, but I don't think it's going to be that easy now. This is a tough one with that initial kill coming out. Damage does go the way of ImmenZ, taking Baron as well as Blackstrela very low on HP, but this is not the start they were looking for here. Let's see if they can do something to iron things out.
A great adaptation by Parabellum, what ImmenZ failed to do. They've isolated yellow, and that will not be a rotation haven for ImmenZ. They're going to have to go through the backside of the site, which actually could work in their favor since there are deployable shields back then. It seems like ImmenZ is prepared for that. But the crucial thing is the Yings will most likely not find their target, as if there are ADSs more or less towards the east side of the map, well, it's going to be very hard to find those Candelas true. But you don't even need to have your utility telegraph your position, because it's a full sin for Parabellum. They just walk straight through the breach. Pistol in hand, Skies was too aggressive, and everybody from the defense finds their marks, finds their kills. Parabellum trying to have a sneaky play where they didn't drop utility, but that was to their disadvantage as they all fall suddenly.
Yeah, they certainly tumbled down rather quickly. There wasn't a lot of time to do much after that. It absolutely insane finish there. We saw Primal and Paper a lot up on there. I mean, a tremendous job. A little bit of that aggression came out. You saw the Ash pushed in, decided to switch over to the sidearm. The sidearm didn't have the stopping power. And with that Spearhead dead, things just crumbled from there on out. A tremendous round in favor of ImmenZ. They put themselves just 2 rounds away from closing the book on map number 1 as we head once again to lobby. The first time for this half, but we've seen it a couple times so far in the matchup, and I'm excited to see how it's going to play this time. We've got a lot of great things happening for both sides, but with Primal and Paper, both of them dropping 10 kills apiece, it's starting to look like these guys just don't miss. And, well, looking at the KDs as well, they hardly ever die. Cravington as well has begun to certainly pick up. He was 0-4 at one point, now finding himself 4-6, certainly having a nice little comeback story. These guys are starting to come alive, and for Parabellum, that means craftiness as well as the expertise of being able to hit those shots is going to have to be absolutely essential to take down ImmenZ as they are powering up. And, well, that's a scary sight. ImmenZ, a very strong roster, and at this point, we are seeing the full force of Paper and Primal. Parabellum have a lot of work to do to take them down.
We're going to have to see how the defense is going to be prepared for the attackers taking control of that second floor. Primal's going to get aggressive on a spawn peak. He's going to lose a lot of his HP. He's an incredibly critical operator since he is playing that Legion, and his goo mines get more and more powerful with age. And by the time the round hits Doomsday Hour, he could have 7 of those charges throughout the map. A nice bullet hole punch hole will be successful as he just spots the head of Black, has it completely removed. A huge volatile is going to work perfectly for Krieger. Now he will be traded in the end, but that high level of aggression from the smoke could cost ImmenZ when they go for that final denial of the bomb plant.
Yeah, it's been interesting as that smoke has been one of the first frags time and time again, but it doesn't seem to matter too much as Cravington and Paper shut it down so eloquently. Now only Cam's left alone, and Primal says, hello, I'm yeeting out of a window, and yeeting straight into your heart with a beautiful shot. Primal has shown prowess and absolute domination on the battlefield tonight, and ImmenZ put it 6-2. It's going to be match point here, and that's starting to look scary. It was already starting to look scary. Now we are at the situation for Parabellum where they can't miss. They've got to win every single round, 4 in a row, just to take us to overtime. And from there, who knows what they're going to have to do. It's not going to be easy at all. We'll see how it happens. As Yana going to be shown. Yana, a tremendously cool operator. Infinite drones in a sense, but it looks like she'll be stuck. The Jaeger switching to who? Paper teases us as the Monty will be switched on to the lovely Hibana. It'll be a mute coming out. No need for the silly Jaeger, they say, as they're ready to go on what could very well be the last round of Consulate.
I don't think it's going to go quite out yet. Parabellum has shown that they have a lot of fight left in them, and they're going to still try to keep hitting as hard as humanly possible. But also with the men's flying out windows and spawn peeking, it's going to be difficult for them to shut it down. And that's when Parabellum says, you know what, we need to just shut their aggression down. It has to come through those air jabs of Nomad. Place them on windows, and if nothing more, it is going to deter the active runout. Because the defender hears the beeps, he's obviously not just going to fly out the window because he knows he's going to be just exploded into another dimension. Now, we have seen teams get cunning with that, though, particularly over by Suicide Balcony, which is on the south side of the map, where you'll have one defender run out first, and then the second defender will run out after that first defender was grabbed by the air jab. So ImmenZ could bait it, but instead they're going to be baiting their teammates and shooting bullets in the back of their heads.
Okay, a tremendous start. RC gets the double kill with a run out. That is so devastating, but still, it's a 3v3. You use your sledge and your ash. Those are some really great operators to have on the board, especially with the extra breaching charge, or breaching round rather, that Skies now has as that ash. And of course, the lovely sledgehammer as well as nades brought from the sledge. Oh, a bit of a misplay there with the nade, bounces off, but that's okay. You got another one. Tremendous run out from RC, but we'll see if that's going to be enough for, like I said, Parabellum certainly have a lot of fight, and they find themselves in an even man count. Thanks to a little bit of a TK on a primal. We'll see if that's going to be a big price to pay for ImmenZ. Are they going to end up losing this round because of that trigger? Takes down Baron now in a 2v3. This could be a little bit tougher, but with the lovely weaponry at hand, let's see if Cryptics and OnlyCams can do it. 236 ready to go, as well as that Type 89. This is it. If they can't win it out, we're heading to map number 2, but a huge shot from Cryptics turned into a 2v2. Not done at all as the move continues to push in. There's another headshot. Cravington will drop. It's all Krieger as he's left alone. Cryptic low at HP, could use a little bit of a dart of Docs to get her back full up for the full Hibana, but this is going to be an interesting matchup with still a minute to go. It's all on the dock.
Instead of recovering the diffuser, they're going to go for kills. Krieger able to find one. Alex for the prone angle. It won't work for him as he loses his life. Parabellum is back in this fight, particularly after they lost that huge aggressive run out. Those are one of those ranked styles of play that you just don't expect to see in comp. And ImmenZ is going to be going for more of those since they have found success. Well, they're just going to double and triple down on them. We're talking earlier back in round 3. ImmenZ is the roster, as soon as that snowball starts to get bigger and bigger and roll faster, they're just going to continuously send it. And that can kind of be their bane, where they don't know how to modulate that throttle and they don't know when to apply the brakes.
We'll see if their runaway train strategy will be derailed here. It very well could be. As now just 3 more rounds have to be won for Parabellum. Still a hard one and a little bit of a stretch, but it can be done. As we saw that round previously, it certainly can be done. Parabellum certainly have what it takes. Look at some of these guys. They are getting some very good kills. Again, all very even with the kill count. Going 7, 6, 6, 6, 5, not too bad at all. Paper and Primal still with 11 and 12 looking phenomenal, to say absolutely the least. And their team beginning to get some Roger Dodger kills on as well. But yeah, it is interesting that unbridled aggression could be their undoing. It could be that fatal flaw. We'll see if that's going to be the case. We head back downstairs to Garage. A lot of great operators lined up here. We did see the Kite ban, so no denial at all on the wall. And why bring denial on the wall when they've got a Thatcher, they've got a Maverick if they want to do that? There's almost no reason, but they will bring out the Bandit just to try to maybe trick it a little bit. Pardon me. We'll see if that's going to be enough here as the men once again sit on the edge of taking the map as their own. Parabellum still fighting back very hard, and we'll see if they can fight back hard enough to take us to OT.
The thing is, bandit tricking probably won't work at all for ImmenZ because Parabellum takes yellow control relatively quickly. Now, as I say that, one of the primary entries, Skies, will lose his life on the aggressive swing on through. And ImmenZ is going to just laugh all the way to the bank as they are able to sit a little bit more comfortably on their second floor extension. But it seems like Parabellum has read into this, and they want to just cut the head of the snake right at the body that's going to be on that basement side. Paper will not be able to retreat back into his sight, so he's going to be forced to either take gunfights or waste plenty of time.
Interesting there, trying to throw the drone in a bit of a bait out, but it'll be Cryptic finding the kill on the RC. Paper find the kill onto a drone, I believe, and well, with 12 and 4 at 3.0 KD is looking absolutely revolutionary from Paper on that Jaeger. Baron now moving on in, spots out the deadly Jaeger, is going to get tagged up for his troubles, but there it is. A little bit of a trade coming out there, but no, not really a trade at all. It'll be a refrag as there is Baron again taking down Paper. Now at this point, things starting to look good, but Krieger with a beautiful shot on the only down takes it to a 2v2. HP-wise looking good for ImmenZ, both of them with 100 at their disposal. Baron starting to look a little bit worse for wear. Cryptic's just under the 100 HP mark, and now using those 4 X-Kairos charges to go ahead and open up 2 hatches, a incredibly useful feature now, as you can get a lot of work done with those X-Kairos charges. Less than a minute to go. This is where everything needs to be put onto the board for Parabellum. Let's see if they have what it takes to take down ImmenZ for the second time in a row.
They're going to have to continuously utilize vertical destruction with 42 seconds left on the clock. They don't have a lot of time. They didn't bring a sledge, but breaching charges do make a larger hole than the sledgehammer, so it could work out well where they constantly drive peek straight into the TCSG. They have no match for it as it finds 4 swift kills throughout this round. ImmenZ is able to win map number 1 of Consulate, but since it's the best of 3, there are still more maps to roll on through. Map 2 going to Cafe.
Well, a tremendous job well done to ImmenZ. I mean, it started to look like it was possible for the guys on Parabellum to come back. It certainly was, as they had some good rounds for themselves, but the overwhelming pressure and the phenomenal finish coming out from Krieger was just a little bit too much. So I do believe we will be taking it to a short break. Our next map is going to be Cafe. I'm excited to see what Cafe holds for us. A very common map from back in the old days. We love to see a little bit of Cafe. It'll be a good map to see what Parabellum can do. Can they bring us to map number 3 of Oregon? I'd certainly like to see it. So I don't know. We'll have to find out. Cafe coming up in just a couple of minutes. Don't go too far. We'll be right back.
watch you stare. I would watch you stare. Oh.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our lovely exhibition map. In map number 1, we saw a strong showing by ImmenZ. They were having fun, and they played brilliantly at that. But we're going to be diving over to a different battleground as we move into Cafe.
Yes, Cafe, a very exciting map. I've known it for a long time, and it has continuously, been a good map to really see the skill of these two teams. Heading in, once again, it is ImmenZ taking on Parabellum. Map 1 went the way of ImmenZ in a pretty dang good fashion for them. They were able to take it in a, I believe, 7-3 victory. And now as we head into the ban phase of map number 2, it's time to really see what the guys over in Parabellum can bring, because certainly they have got to bring it. You can see the little notch up in that top middle center of your screen. It's indicating that ImmenZ took map number 1. If they take another map, it's game over. Series done for Parabellum, so they need to be on their best of behavior here, ready to strike back, put fear into the hearts of the ImmenZ peoples. And with Thatcher coming out for the first ban, let's see who Parabellum will take off the board. Could be a hard breacher, might be an ace. We'll see what it's going to be. It'll be the Maverick coming out, a good operator to get off the board. Is that pretty much make sure it's going to be very difficult to get through any walls without some serious work.
And we can see there's some shade going on towards Canada. And all I have to say to that is a Canadian group chat for Rainbow Six Siege is still popping, unlike the North American and the American one. So take that L. Just like Goyo did, as he is now removed. Now, we're no longer in Utility Consumption Simulator, which means that Goyo ban won't be as effective because the attackers still have a lot of utility that they can send down range. Well, my most likely would have been a stronger ban because, again, if you want to remove Utility Consumption Simulator, you want to remove the devices that are hindering you to destroy the utility instead of the utility itself.
That's a good point to be made. Wilmai, an incredibly strong operator on this map, especially back in the old days when he had his own deployable shield and he could protect his deployable shield pretty much for the entire round, it seemed. It was very difficult to get him out of that pixel corner upstairs on Bar Cocktail. And we're talking of the old Bar Cocktail. That's exactly where we will be headed for round number 1 of map number 2. It's going to be ImmenZ starting on the defense this time to bring out the Echo, who has been in quarantine for a while. He's been out for a little bit now too, but it's good to see him again. Good to see the Echo back in the action as we head in for this round. We don't see the Omai come out. We do see some good operators though for the offense as well. I'm excited to see how everything's going to boil down as we head in here. Should be a good showing. I mean, this is where Parabellum really needs to step up and say, we can take this map. We can push this to Oregon, because that's going to be their only chance of taking this exhibition map.
Now, in some of the scrim reports that I've seen and heard, a lot of teams are going away from the true let's hold pixel until we die type strategy and have reverse engineered the Villa strategy, particularly the kitchen strategy, where you have your nitrocell denial from underneath and you just try to obliterate anything that enters in piano. Because every single Bar Cocktail strategy that this map has ever received, even on the previous iteration, has had the strategy of denying piano entry, whether or not it was through information dial, mute Mozzie, whether it's utility consumption simulator, or the Mira just absolute, oppressiveness, putting it on the backside of pallets. But nonetheless, it's all going to be on the defense to deny entry over into piano.
Yeah, we'll see how that's going to go. You got a little bit of a Kaid hanging out. And you know what? I've seen some gnarly C4 kills in this map. Leading them up through the hatch, destroying people before they have a chance to even think about it. I've seen some interesting plays here. So I'm excited to see how these two teams will clash on this map. Again, very exciting map. A lot of people have it as one of their favorites. And we'll see how this goes. Droning out, doing a good job. I don't know if they were with me when we saw Rikers Empire. They had somebody chilling in that minibar area. No one droned him out, and he took like a 4K as people just continuously walked right into him. It was a little bit of a sad sight to see, but luckily no one's chilling there, and if they were, they would have been droned out. Well, 2 minutes to go. The pixel angle is being held by Paper on the smoke, but with some good ADSs to protect him, he should be safe for a little bit longer.
This is actually a very slow attack by Parabellum. They haven't identified the mini games, and as a result, they've lost their secondary entry, one of the best operators at dealing with mini games. However, Frag Grenade will go up. That was on the east side of the map over by Cocktail. A second one will confirm Primal, which means those Echo drones will be stuck in the positions. Now, he will be relegated to camera duty, and honestly, having an Echo in that position is still a strong thing to have, as he's going to be calming and communicating with his team for the remainder 70 seconds.
Yep, second running down. There's Black Shirley again. Now Krieger, beautiful shot. As they're doing a good job of taking that control. RC, he's chilling here. He's got the AG 3 ready to do a little bit of work, firing down range. RC did a great job on the previous map. Was overshadowed a little bit by Primal and Paper, as that combination was the deadly duo. And now there's Baron taking down Paper. It's just Cravington and RC left alone. RC with a good kill onto Cryptic, looking for more. Is going to be tagged up for a little bit of HP. There's a nice C4 from Cravington to take Baron out of it. 2v2, 40 seconds on the clock. The diffuser in the middle of the floor, but a big shot from Blackula takes a triple kill as Craving goes down. Now it's all on RC. HP looking for him, but you can say the same for only camps with very minimal. And now Blackula as well being tagged up. If anyone can do it, it's got to be RC, the legend himself, getting those continuous pings. That information so brutal. Here is now the move comes up. It's gonna be a shot, but it misses. Doesn't matter because the refrag is there. Only Camps protects his teammate and shuts down RC for the first round win. Parabellum looking strong as we enter into Cafe Dostoevsky. A tremendous start from them on that attack.
I have to be extremely critical of Parabellum. Sure, they won. That was a sloppy execute. They didn't identify a single mini game, and the only reason they won was because they just kind of sprint challenged their way into success. They took gunfights and they won them. That is not a strategy that they can have throughout a series. Now, that might just be their mastery of Cafe, where they have a better understanding of the positioning from ImmenZ just from a game stints standpoint. However, they never dealt with the Evil Eyes. Why? Well, they lost Sophia too early on. And they are too focused on the pixel deployable shield, where they're constantly trying to flash dump it and then send all the Ash utility thereafter. But it never happened in a timely fashion, and it just seemed like Parabellum was just skipping steps along the way, and they just haphazardly found themselves into a victory. If utility from ImmenZ is allowed to persist throughout a round, it should be a free round for ImmenZ. But again, half this game is an FPS, and you do have to win gunfights, so which Parabellum did a wonderful job at.
They certainly did a wonderful job. Black with a 3K. Looks so great. Only Cams as well. Karen picked up the remaining 2 kills, and it was a tremendous showing through and through for this team on Parabellum. For men, he had a little bit of a potential clutch up from RC. Had a couple of kills. Crimson got a nice C4 kill. I believe Paper as well opened up, but unfortunately, the damage dealt was a little bit too much, and well, they're going to have to try again. Trying again, though, this time you've got the lovely big old pistol ready to go. He's looking out the window, hoping to find somebody coming around that corner. Luckily for Parabellum, it doesn't seem like anybody's going to be falling into that trap as of right now, but RC persists, wanting to find a free opening kill. It can be dangerous, poking around by the window, spots somebody out, gets the shot off, actually does a lot of damage to Skies, takes him down around 50 HP. Not a bad beginning at all, but with Baron down to the ground now. This is looking tremendous for men. Krieger finishes him off, and that's the ace dead early. The GN in that like an absolute savage legend, but only Cam takes him down. They got to get a refrag on the GN. Absolutely they do. Come on, throw it out, but no. These men are holding it out. And now, a 4v4 situation, things continuously going back and forth. 2 minutes to go.
Unique and haphazardous runout's gonna be elected for the ImmenZ, as Cravington's gonna fly out a window and now be dead. ImmenZ worked hard to achieve their man advantage, and then all of a sudden they throw it away. Now, ImmenZ on the previous map, they wanted to play super aggressive, and they're gonna bring that same mentality back. However, hyper-aggression tends to lose teams more often than it ends up winning it. But since Parabellum did lose one of the most important operators, that ace, the only hard breacher they have, power positions from ImmenZ will not be able to be broken down. It's going to come down to the gunfights of Parabellum, and they seem very set up to be able to win them, as only Cans ends up dropping.
Oh, well, that's the second nade kill that we've seen from Black, and there's Cryptics as well taking down RC. Mr. Paper finds himself in a 1v3 situation, tries to gun it down to 1v2. The flank coming down from Skies starts to look problematic. Black is finished off now, but post-plant situation here in a 1v2, not exactly the place you would like to be. The Wamai with that MP5K hoping to do a lot of work for his team to get in there and absolutely dominate. It doesn't look great, though. Again, post-plants are so difficult, and it would be such a clutch up, but with the advanced positioning coming out now from Parabellum, they're on their repels, they're playing it passively, they're waiting to hear that telltale sign, and now Skies makes the ascension. He's going to try to blast him off of it, does a good job of just that, and with that move from Cryptics, the second round goes as well to Parabellum. These guys are playing perfectly against the aggression of ImmenZ, and some of these runouts and some of these plays just throwing away their lives so carelessly, certainly biting them in the butt for the first 2 rounds.
ImmenZ just needs to tone things down a bit. They're doing a great job finding that opening kill with a unconventional spawn peek, which does work in their favor, but you have to have controlled levels of aggression. And we have to go back to Cravington. I'm sure he had a Valkyrie camera outside, which meant that he should have known behind the AC unit onto the west side of the map, there's somebody lurking. That information needs to be communicated, and they just need to back down the aggression dial a little bit. But nonetheless, as you're highlighting, Parabellum did a great job on that attack. But moving forward, it's going to be a completely different bomb site for ImmenZ as they end up... Oh, it's actually the same bomb site. They're going to try bar for the 3rd time in a row. I am never a fan of repeating a bomb site twice in a row, let alone 3 times in a row. But since they decided that we actually need to rehost, that's why bar was shown. Mistakes do be made, but we'll probably be seeing a different bomb site if admin approves it at least.
Yeah. So it looked like the reason for the rehost was RC might be having some internet issues. So we might be seeing a new 5th player coming in, which could be interesting.
Outbreak.
Bring him in, man. So unfortunate for RC getting a little bit of those internet issues. Happens to the best of us. But hey, we'll see if the guys on ImmenZ can return stronger than ever, because right now, Parabellum, they looked really good in those first 2 rounds.
You know what I just noticed, Slay? We're no longer on fire. Just like the entire lobby is on fire since ImmenZ is burning everything down, but more or less in map number 2, they're burning themselves down. But actually, since they have a substitute rolling on through, will that make them more aggressive, or will it make them less aggressive? Because if you aren't running your true strategies, that could put yourself in a position where, you know, like, we're just going to fly out a window. Like, for example, if I was subbing in for ImmenZ right now, you know for a fact I would be throwing a Valkyrie camera out every single window, and I wouldn't care if it worked. I just want to get that cool highlight play, you know?
That seems like their strategy, man. They just go for those clips, man. And it hasn't worked too well for the first 2 rounds. But hey, they took the map on Consulate. Maybe they keep on going down the same hallway and somehow they make it through into the light. But I think Parabellum at this stage have got them figured out pretty well with their little strategies of yeeting out of windows and all these aggressive plays. So I don't know. For their sake, I hope that they, like you said, tone it down a little bit, bring it back. But hey, they're ImmenZ. Who knows what they're going to do? They've got some fire on their team, and they certainly aren't afraid to try to use it to the best of their abilities.
And with that, we're going to be diving over to a quick 5-10 minute break, so don't go anywhere. I'll be back with you momentarily.
ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. That it feels right. Feels right. So right, so right, so right. I'm just going with the gut. Never had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now. We know I ain't ballin' yet. Hoes wanna holler, oh no, I don't call them back. Girl, let me see you hold it down, we gon' have a blast. Cause I just wanna know what you gonna do with all of that. Ain't gotta say a word, I know what's up. You can have it all, watch me rip it off. I'll admit it, you got me feeling hella loved. Even when it's going down, know that we gon' live it up. Young shot caller, always been a baller. Know that you the one, I can feel it in my heart. Yeah, I won't stop charging me, go and come harder. I can see you and I, way beyond the stars, girl. I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. 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 Feels right. So right, so right, so right. I'm just going with the gut. Never had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now.
They said to wait for the right time, and I think tonight might just be right. I know you want to do it too, so bring your courage, there's no rules.
Well, good day, my dear friends. Welcome back again. It's great to be here with you. We had a little bit of a rehost, I believe, adding a new player into the lovely ImmenZ roster. RC is no longer with us. He will be, I think, at least. I'm not confirmed yet, but we were going to see who that fifth player is going to be. I'm very excited. The rehost is coming to an end, so we're ready to get back into Cafe. As we have the round history set up, we've got the bands all in. We're looking really great. Everything is exciting. And well, Chief, so far it's been a little bit of a Parabellum smackdown for round 1 and 2.
I'm alt F4ing from this cast now. It's not Outbreak. I wanted Outbreak, the owner of ImmenZ, to be playing. I mean, HF is cool and all. HF dash, but we all love ourselves some Outbreak. But nonetheless, as you're highlighting, we are finally able to say how ImmenZ are going to participate on a different bomb site that is going to be downstairs in kitchen. And this is another one of these bomb sites and maps that have received a little bit of turmoil. Attackers seem to be debating on what is the best way of executing, whether or not it's going to be a linear tank through Big Bakery, or it's going to be the more traditional style of execute where you roam clear throughout the entire map. Both of the strategies have their pros and cons, where the roam clear has the con of wasting a lot of time, and the linear take through Big Bakery, well, the con is you don't have an actual crossfire, so it's really contingent on just rolling your way into the bomb site and winning once.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a dilemma, perhaps. You know, you can waste a lot of time, get a really thorough roam clear, and try to set it up, but then your execute is going to be looming, and you've got to make sure that goes well. But
10 seconds to go.
again, the brute force method of just charging in through and trying to
5
to
seconds
take
go.
control, that can be worse than wasting a little bit of time. I mean, yeah, those crossfires can be oh so important. So I'm excited to see what Parabellum. I'm excited to see what they're going to do. They're ready again. We have unfortunately reset all the stats, so we don't see their kills anymore, but we do see Blackshell take a little bit of damage there. That's scary. You got to be careful of people trying to get you before you're ready to go down, and they'll be moving on in towards the lovely bomb site. Kitchen can be a pretty strong bomb site as well. It does suffer from some verticality issues. If you're not able to control upstairs, you can get gunned down, but we'll see how that is all going to play out for this round. Parabellum could go up 3-0 at this point, and ImmenZ haven't really said much other than, okay, I guess you can do that as we jump out of windows and try to kill you, but it hasn't seemed to work. HF, though, playing quite aggressively, moves directly into the angle of Pixel, fights down and shuts down Cryptics. More might drop as Black is chasing here, but a tremendous opening kill for the low HP Jaeger.
This is a brilliant execute from Parabellum. Sure, they lost their primary entry, but this is the first time that we've seen this series them running through a checklist perfectly. You have to have boots on the ground on Cafe, particularly when you're roam clearing a kitchen setup in the first 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. Parabellum did exactly that. They got that map control through their stage drones. So they had drones pre-established over by Red, and that was providing information that say there's nobody anywhere near us, so we're just going to take control. Those drones are walking in their entries. Now, where that went wrong was they didn't clear all the way over to White Hallway, and as a result, that on-site pressure is going to get even worse for Parabellum, as the Nitrocell will find its target. IQ is down but not out, but in a position to get fully rezzed, but only to 20 HP, and there's another one.
Yeah, C4 is coming out. Imagine if it would landed on the IQ and the sledge. Try to get that res. That would have been absolutely tragic, but still a kill's a kill, and that puts a nice bill out for ImmenZ. They've got the man advantage. And with guys low on HP, I mean, get a little bit tough. Luckily, there's not going to be an issue anymore unless we replace one. I think one might have just got off, but I'm not sure. But we'll see how this goes. Huge shot on the previous shot down. There's Baron taking a kill. Is now a 3v3. With 30 seconds to go, that execute is indeed looming. It's ready for the action, and at this point, we'll see if ImmenZ can stop the flow, because the flow is certainly about to come raging on in. While this offside pressure going to start moving in, Primal being tagged up crazily. Paper finds a good kill in disguise, and with 11 seconds to go, this is going to take brute force to push your way out of the freezer, and that brute force comes out in Baron's favor. A little bit of the nade being shown out, but there it is. Black from Cravington, the frag goes through. Paper finds him, but Paper is instead found by Baron. A tremendous round win for Parabellum. Take a look at it again. Gets off the plant and guns him down. A move that certainly will go down in history for one of the best round 3 kitchen attacks I've seen today.
That was a very awkward entrance into that double doors. ImmenZ still had plenty of time to play with. As soon as they dealt with that cover, basically it came down to Paper to determine what is the best way of taking this. Since he knows that the cover has been relinquished, he can go for the sprint challenge, and that's what he elected to do. But that's the problem with that situation. There's so little time left on the clock. Most attackers are going to get off the bomb and have gun up because they are prepared for you to push directly into you. You have to be, as a defender in that scenario, trying to set up cover, which they did, but then you have to be prepared and listen for the lone attacker who's on that bomb, the audio cues he's giving. If you hear it ticking away, well, that's a perfect position for you to actually try to challenge that position. But he didn't hear the ticks anymore. Why? Well, Ace was gun up, ready to execute.
Well, at this point, Parabellum have taken some great control of the map. I mean, they have done everything they needed to for the first 3 rounds. ImmenZ
10 seconds to go.
have had close calls. They really have. I mean, it gets very, very close, but Baron on that last round picking up a 3K. just a dominant force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. Absolutely so. And ImmenZ, unfortunately, couldn't deal with him quick enough. We saw a good try from, I believe it was Paper coming in, but the shot from Baron would gun him down, and now it's starting to look a lot like Christmas for Parabellum. They're getting their gifts ready. They're feeling absolutely phenomenal about how everything is rolling and flowing with the team, because this is absolute dominance for the first 3 rounds. Of course, it can change. We've seen changes happen. We've seen, you know, teams go one way and absolutely slam home the other way, but if Parabellum keep it up on this tear of a pace they're setting, we're headed to map 3 almost without a doubt. I mean, they are looking so good here. But of course, ImmenZ, let's see if they can do something. HF picked up an early kill in round number 3, but yeah, died shortly thereafter. Is looking for another early kill here upstairs, hanging out. There's Black Joe moving in. Paper takes some good damage. He's going to be down now. That could be an unfortunate first death, as HF takes a lot of HP off as well. Skies takes some damage too, and now this is already an awkward beginning for ImmenZ. What a move there, but it's not going to go their way. Skies takes down Paper as Black finishes off HF. This is absolute brilliance coming out from Parabellum, winning any gunfight they seem to go into, and with a 3v5 situation in their favor, looks good for a 4-0 beginning for Parabellum.
I like how ImmenZ is trying to utilize this stage drone where they snipe away drones, and that's where the stage drone falls apart. They don't retreat. The power of the stage drone is you're able to waste time by sniping away a drone, retreat to a new ground, and keep doing that all the way until you walk into your bomb site. And if you've done the stage drone right, you will find yourself in the bomb site right before the attackers go to execute. They won't have any utility and they won't have any drones. You're forcing the attackers to go for just straight face checking. And that seems to work out well for Parabellum, but as they just constantly find more and more. The 2 remaining members of ImmenZ are going to have to synchronize and play together, trying to utilize those nitro cells, but it's looking a little rough.
Oh, there's Krieger with a good retag. Takes down Cryptix. Cravington now is being tagged up a little bit. It's just Krieger and it's just Cravington left alone in this 2v4. Time is still pretty dang reasonable for the attacking side of Parabellum. They've got a lot of things going for them at this point, and I am starting to feel like ImmenZ have hit a brick wall here, and they're going to have to absolutely do something to smack it down. There's a nice C4, does a good bit of damage. There's another C4, won't be finding anybody, but the air out the board is huge. This guy's there, is going to get the plant down, but only Cam shuts down Krager. It's just Cravington, and a 1v3. Plant goes down, the double kill from Crave, and he takes down Black, but now it's all about this post-plant situation. Only Cams as the Nomad, as well as Skies as that IQ. There's a lot of things that aren't going in Crave's favor here, and it's going to be a tough 26 seconds quickly ticking down to win this one out. But there is the gunshot. The GA brings out the head of Cravington is gone, and Parabellum have shown that they absolutely can dominate on this map.
ImmenZ just needs to tone down their aggression and be more active on sniping away at drones and wasting the clock. There are so many strong positions throughout this map, and we see this a lot in lower level T3 teams, where people think my primary job as a roamer is to get kills. No, your primary job as a roamer is to waste time. Now, usually that forces you to take gunfights, because when you're retreating back to your bomb site, there's usually an attacker waiting to end your life, and you're obviously going to defend yourself. And actually, that's a great point to make too. Your job as a primary entry is the exact same vein. It's to take map control. It's not necessary to get kills. Now, again, it usually requires you to take kills because the defenders aren't going to give it for free. But nonetheless, we're going to see the defense of ImmenZ elect to go back upstairs for the 3rd time. They're going to need to play together better, and they're going to be needing to waste time. Their Nitrocell game is on par, so maybe you double down with that strategy. You send 2 of your Nitrocell wielders, that's going to be your Cayenne and your Valkyrie, over into train, providing tons of information, and just blow the feet off of Parabellum.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, well, they're going to have to do something against Parabellum, as they're, well, looking like they might just make a little bit of a flawless half here. They're only 2 rounds away from taking a 6-0 lead, and my dear friends, with the 6-0 lead. That does not bode well for ImmenZ. I can tell you that right now. I can tell you that with confidence that a 6-0 lead means that you're going to have to get yourself a nice 6-0 too. Skies takes the Amaru, an operator we talked about a little bit last map. Never saw her or didn't see much of her. We did, but she's going to be here ready to go. And I think that operator pick shows the confidence that Parabellum is feeling right now. They're saying, yo, we could run an Amaru, we can meet in the windows, we can win any gunfight you put us up against. The confidence here for Parabellum is oozing, and it's starting to make ImmenZ feel maybe a little bit worried here, because, I mean, at this point, it's starting to look really bad for them. They can't get something going. Paper 2-2 right now. Of course, we did have that rehost, so we don't have their exact kills, but this is going to be a huge round. ImmenZ needs to strike back. They have got to do something, but here it comes. The grappling hook poised and ready to go. They could do so much here. We'll see if that's going to be the case.
Just waiting for more information. The information has been provided. It's a full send on through. The bomb's going down, and it's a kill feed all in favor of Parabellum as 4 members of ImmenZ instantaneously drops. It's now just Cravington in a 1vx. It's going to be a 1v5, almost impossible. He was unable to utilize his nitro cell. He's going to be grabbed by the air jab. This is going to alert the attackers that he's over by the red stairs. Bullets are going to start to impact his body, but he hasn't been felled as of yet. But the ill-advised sprint challenge will confirm his body as Parabellum going up 5 in a row.
5 in a row with a flawless round to cap that one off. I mean, the Amaru was played brilliantly. You got those kills coming in left, right, center, everywhere. Was the domination that we heard and saw for that round. A tremendous showing for the true power that Parabellum brings to the battlefield. They're up 5-0 at this point. It's already bad for ImmenZ. Can it get worse? Yes, it can. We could see a 6-0 possibility. That is totally on the table now as we head again to Bar Cocktail. What is going on with ImmenZ? They have fallen off the old wagon. They are hurting, and Parabellum is showing no mercy, striking them down round after round, and this is getting a little bit rough for our dudes on ImmenZ. Let's see if they can do anything here, because they have got to put in the work to bring this somehow back. I've seen 5-1 go both ways. I haven't seen many 6-0s go both ways, but if ImmenZ gets into that position, their comeback would be that of legendary stature.
Now, the thing is, the best of 3 series, it isn't uncommon for rosters to win their own map picks, and then the decider really is what, well, decides the series. And it forces teams to have this large map pool, because far too often in T3, we see rosters, they're only comfortable on the, well, the T3 specials. That's going to be your Cafe, your Oregon, and your Clubhouse. Far too often, rosters struggle when we get outside the norm, particularly Consulate and Theme Park. So it's no surprise that ImmenZ, who has a very large map pool, was able to win one of the off-meta maps. But we're going to have to see how that translates as we go into our final map pick, which is, again, part of that T3 meta of Oregon.
Good old Oregon. It's a great map. I really do enjoy a little bit of Oregon play, and yeah, it certainly does seem like we're going there. Cryptic almost takes the head off of one of those defending boys. Like might have been Paper there on the Malusi. Takes an insane amount of damage nonetheless. I mean, already the damage is going the way of Parabellum. I mean, for about extra 50. Cryptic got hit, but Paper got attacked a lot more. That's for sure. A minute is already wasted away, and there's the kill from OnlyCap. Skies well opens up. This team has been absolutely brilliant on map number 2. Unlike anything we saw on map 1, that is for sure. Just domination as Paper and Cravington now both dead on the ground. It's just dudes now left for ImmenZ with the operator lineup. You've got the Echo, the Kaid, and the Jaeger. A lot of not speedy boys here, so let's see what they can do. With the gun can be pretty effective nonetheless. Minute and 32 to go, which means we've seen half the round, and with half the round, ImmenZ have taken a huge hit.
So there's quite a deployable shield over in the cocktail side, doing a great job of denying the drop from the skylight. but Parabellum will most likely not utilize that as an avenue into the map. Instead, they're going to utilize it through the parts of the map that they work so hard to achieve. That's going to be the west side over by Piano. Now, Jaeger knows that there's an air job on the window. He's going to call for extra help, and it's going to be Primal lining the head up one, but here comes the grenades from underneath. Primal has been the loser in this scenario more than once here on Cafe, and he's going to have to be even more careful. Now, Black is waiting for additional information before he pulls the pin on his final grenade. But ImmenZ has done a great job of wasting time, but they still have the -1 man disadvantage.
Yeah, HP looking rough for Primal and Krieger as well. Multicam's not feeling too healthy either, but there's 300 HP plus that extra 24. I mean, that's a lot to chew through. With Baron taking down Primal, it is looking like a 6-0 beginning here. HF gone down from Multicam. There's not much you can do in a situation like this, and there's not much they will do. Black takes him down. Krieger falls. A tremendous showing from Parabellum as they have done nothing but brilliance on Cafe. They certainly have come ready to eat up, and they're ordering everything on the menu here. ImmenZ delivering it to them. One of the best services we've seen, it seems. As if this were Hell's Kitchen, these guys, man, they're doing phenomenal at this point. And, well, for the guys in Parabellum, it looks like it's going to be a potential 7-0 victory. For ImmenZ, a 6-6 is going to take 6 rounds in a row of their own. They're now on the attacking side, but the clash being brought out from Cryptics could be the final trump card. It'll be switched over to a Frost. And I don't know, dude. This has been absolutely the map for Parabellum and absolutely not the map for ImmenZ. But like you said, it's a very common map here in T3. But the thing I see so much on Cafe is it always seems to be so polarized, so one-sided. Just one team just smashes for some reason. It just seems to be that way. I feel like every team is a Cafe team until they face a better Cafe team. And well, Parabellum have shown to be the better Cafe team on their attacking half. Let's see if they really falter in their defense, but I don't think they will, man. I think they've got this locked down for a potential 7-0 victory to take them out through Oregon.
The problem is, dining and mining is very awkward to hold because the defense wants to hold vertical control as long as possible. But if we look what Parabellum was doing when they're back on attack, look how quickly they're able to get control of the west side of the map. It only takes about 60 seconds, and about 40 of those seconds are rappelling up to the actual roof. So Parabellum is going to have a contingency plan for denying entry into Piano. And like we're saying during the pregame, the best way of doing that is through vertical nitros. Parabellum will be bringing 2 of those nitro cells, one on the Cayenne and one on the Malusi. And you couple that with those Malusi wubwubs on that 3rd floor, and you can get free audio cues without having a camera be present. Because ImmenZ was attempting to employ a very similar strategy, but they're utilizing actual information, which through those evil eye cameras. But you can also get audio information as well. The world is your oyster in Rainbow Six Siege, and creative teams can find different ways of gathering that info.
Yeah, they really can, man. And I'm excited to see if that information will prove super dang valuable. This guy's already on the ground there. Grimkin doing a good job of looking around and trying to find some frags. We'll see if this guy gets picked up in this situation. Could be a 20 HP if they do, but there's Primal taking out Black Bear. What a tremendous shot. Using that F90. The gridlock coming out doing work. And now at this point, this guy's on the ground, Black dead. Looking great for ImmenZ. They've got a lot of power and a lot of potential to make sure that this isn't a 7-0 loss for them. There's the finish off. These guys will fall to Krieger. Baron, 4-1 since the rehost, has died very rarely, but we'll see if that's going to be enough to evade death for how long. As now in a 3v5 situation, you're going to have to try yourself into those situations where you might die. There's always gaps taking out Krieger. A tremendous shot. That kill in the future went the other way. This could be almost over for this round. There's Cryptic again. Primal shuts down 3v2. like you mentioned, this can be a difficult site to hold. It's really not a site that we see a lot. But Baron opening up with a huge kill for 2v2. There's Cryptics as well in the paper. It's all HF. The man called in to take out RC. Trying to replace him the best he can. He's 1-4, found a single kill back when he first got in here, as the Jaeger has found nothing but pain since, and that pain might continue. With 30 seconds to go, the clutch is incredibly doable with Cryptics on near negative HP, but Cryptics still putting shots down range at HF back. The smoke is going to make it so difficult to even venture into that area where the bomb is, and at this point, Parabellum may have locked it down here. Moving through, actually gets the kill, but it's not going to happen. There's Cryptic ready to finish off HF as he finds his teammate. A tremendous showing from Parabellum as they win on defense, and they've certainly won on offense, proving them to be capable of a 7-0 flawless victory. What a job from Parabellum.
ImmenZ needs to address the issues they have on Cafe. They are struggling to coordinate amongst themselves. They're not communicating, and these can be issues that can move into different maps. Oregon is a very similar map to Cafe. It requires the attackers to get a lot of map control, and you're going to have to enter the building in a relative quick time. Also, it's going to force the attackers into a different scenario. It's going to force them to rotate utility, particularly upstairs. So most teams are electing to do the North Attic executes coupled with South games. That requires such a level of synergization. And after map 2, I just don't see that coming out from ImmenZ. They need to take a nice deep breath, rip their inhaler, and just come back fresh, forgetting everything that happened in Cafe, but still learning from those lessons.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to feel real bad. And for Parabellum, the mental boost that they just got from it dominating on, of course, I believe it was their map pick of Cafe, has got to feel really good. So heading into Oregon, like you said, we're going to have to see ImmenZ turn around, do something absolutely phenomenal here, because Parabellum are poised and ready to strike this down. We will be taking a short break, and then we'll continue and conclude this epic exhibition match. I'm excited to see how it's all going to finish, because it certainly has been one to watch tonight, with both teams performing very well on their own map picks. But here, the decider is called the decider for a reason, because it will decide who walks home with the cash. I believe $100, not too shabby at all for a nice little night of Siege. And, well, only one team can grab it.
Now which way do we go is the question to ask. There are so many choices that it's hard not to look past. What is real and what is fake, and the risk we have to take. Will we know what is throwing off our balance? We're trying to find ourselves without the defining words. We can no longer hold on to what only makes us hurt. We cannot sink into the dark. The vertigo is getting sharp. There's something greater than ourselves that we must reach for. Into the infinite that we must reach. Into the infinite that we must reach. Into the infinite that we must reach. Into the infinite that we must reach.
I'm crawling around, searching for higher ground. Can't see in front of me, my enemies. I've tried every possibility, ability to know if I can bleed. If that's what you wanted, you won't get it tonight. 'Cause I can fly, I can fly, I can fly, I can fly. Where were you when I was I'm crawling around, searching for higher ground. Can't see in front of me, my enemies. I've tried every possibility, ability to know if I can bleed. If that's what you wanted, you won't get it tonight. 'Cause I can fly, I can fly, I can
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our lovely exhibition match. Things are starting to get a little bit more spicy. He's obviously going nuts. My partner in crime, if you're not familiar with his lovely face and name, that is Mr. Slayzilla. You seem excited for this series. Welcome.
I'm very excited, Chief. I mean, it's all boiling down to this. We've seen some great things from both teams. ImmenZ shine through on map number 1 of Consulate, winning in a pretty good 7-3 fashion. But then Parabellum said, wait, you can't do that. We're going to do this, and took a 7-0 victory on the map of Cafe. This leaves us with only one map to go to, that of Oregon, where we will see who can win this out. I mean, both teams have shown great things, but I'm looking at Parabellum and I'm feeling nervous for ImmenZ after what they did on Cafe. I mean, like you said, this is a map that, like Cafe, is very popular among T3 teams. This is what they like to play. So Parabellum, I'm sure, feel pretty dang comfortable going here, but hopefully the same can be said about ImmenZ. This is where everything boils down, and we have to see one team come out on top.
And the thing is, you have to learn from your lessons in the previous two maps, but you also have to forget about the results. The results don't matter. It is now just a best of one. It's all about Oregon, and you have to play lights out. You have to break down your opponent in a different manner, because obviously you won one map, you lost another map. So it's all about taking those small lessons and reverse engineering it, particularly when you're attacking. Because on defense, most teams are pretty comfortable with running their own strategy. They're great at understanding where the attacking flow is coming from and putting their gun barrels down range. Or an attack, it's hard to orchestrate that. And holding hard positions is going to be very difficult on Oregon simply because Thatcher was allowed through the ban phase.
Yeah, Thatcher allowed through and Jackal banned in his stead is fairly intriguing. I very rarely see a Jackal ban, and well, Kaid is going to come out as well. I mean, I don't know. It seems a little bit odd. We haven't really seen Jackal played at all throughout the entire series, so I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe it's a big brain play that I'm too small brain to understand, but am I going to be that final ban out coming from Parabellum? And now prepare to go in. ImmenZ will be starting on the offense. And typically, Oregon can be a pretty dang defender-sided map. Usually, you're looking for that 4-2 half for the defender-sided favor. We'll see if that is going to be the case. Starting us off, we go to the epic downstairs battleground of Laundry Supply. Here, we've seen clashes be incredibly effective at the hands of some teams. It doesn't look like we'll be seeing that here unless we see a 6-pick into the clash, but we'll see here. We got the Jaeger going to the Oryx. That is certainly an interesting pick. He can move around the battlefield very effectively, though. So I'm excited to see what the Oryx will be doing, especially with that T5 SMG, which, as I've seen a couple tier lists out on the TL, has been favored as one of those SA tiers, man. Those things, those T5, they'll mess you up.
Now, I will say, we've seen Jackal bans on this map before because defending rosters wants to do these big, grandiose roams. And since we see Castle in play, this is screaming this is going to be a meeting room extension. However, I hate Jackal bans with a passion because Jackal, very similar to Lion, is always providing information. But unlike Lion, Jackal actually provides the defense with a large amount of information as drones are struggling to be sniped away. But truly, if you get a 4-ping Jackal, well, obviously you as a defender know that he's one room behind you and he's only about like 9 meters behind. But if you get a single Jackal ping, you know he's on the other side of the map, and it requires a lot more forethought, and you actually have to analytically think about your positioning and your micro positioning. But Jackal is providing the defenders with so much darn information that it actually bothers me when I see it banned, because sure, he's a great counter roamer, but also the defenders get something out of it too.
That's a good point. I mean, absolutely. You can kind of tell the proximity of that pesky Jackal based on the number of pings. That's a good point to look out for. But unfortunately, no Jackal will be seen here. Is well, the Thatcher is up, but the Thatcher, despite being up, won't be played. And there's a shot from Cravington dominating very early on, takes it down real good, and not a bad opening pick for him. And Cravington says, "I'm not stopping for nobody." Cryptics now falls as this man is going nuclear. That's right, he's dropping all the kills he could ever want to. There's another. It's going to be RC. Back, RC. Welcome back. We missed you. But he takes down only Cams. And with his return, Cravington on a triple and Krager taking the final one. Oh my goodness, Chief. That was absolute insanity. There wasn't a chance for the defense